I'm Carlos Celdran and I'm an artist living in the city of Manila.
Ang kislap ng watawat ko'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidilim.
I am first and foremost an artist. Everything that I do has to do with art because that's the only thing that I'm licensed to do. I went to art school. I started doing collage, so I did that. My work is actually built on the visual arts. So I started as a cartoonist when I was 16. I became the youngest political cartoonist for the Manila Chronicle and the Manila Times, whatever. So I wanted to get into the fine arts. And so I went into painting, and then I realized that I was allergic to paint. So when I found I was allergic to paint, my third year of college, I couldn't touch turpentine, I couldn't touch linseed oil, because if not, I'd break out, my skin would start peeling, and my hair would start falling. So it's kind of tragic to be a painter allergic to paint. All I do is talk about cities. My obsession is the city of Manila. All the performances that I do, everything that my art informs is about urbanity, about the city of Manila. When I started out doing the walking tours, I did it as a volunteer effort for a nonprofit called the Heritage Conservation Society. It was an organization kind of like the National Trust of the United Kingdom, or the Heritage Trust, which is about teaching people about built heritage and architecture and preservation of architecture. So the American military surrounded all of Intramuros with tanks and artillery guns. And between 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, they completely destroyed the city of Intramuros. It was destroyed in 6 hours. So all of this history that we have here, really, think of the month of February. When February comes, please think of the Battle of Manila and do not think of Chris Aquino's birthday. Please. There are more important things to focus on. Okay? So let's walk down the street, walk this way. Water lily. So my love parade is actually trying to teach Manileños how to see the city once again. Because that area over on that other side is really what Manila is about. It was actually a part of our capital that was constructed using the efforts of, I guess, Filipinos as a civic society, not as a corporate entity, the way that we see most of our buildings and most of our urban spaces being planned today. Manila is being planned by developers. It's not being planned by the people nor the government. So if you look at everything, all of our trains are leading to malls. All of our malls, there's churches being built inside of it, so that we never even have to leave the mall on a Sunday. You see people going behind all of these walls, creating these little illusions, these little Intramuroses once again. And the old city, or the concept of a city, is completely forgotten. That's why when you come to Manila, you really have no sense of place. But the Love Parade over there, this called that there is a sense of place because it was built in a time when we actually had a city. Walk this way! Okay. Turn to number 38. I hate my third world internet. The third building that you see right there is that building over there. The former headquarters of the Monte de Piedad Bank, which was the private bank of the Catholic Church of the Philippines. What a great idea, right? Churches running banks, yeah. I did a protest action back in 2010, where once again I used the city as a stage, used Philippine history as my vehicle, and then my body as the art piece. I dressed up as Jose Rizal. I put the word Damaso, which is a literary reference in our national heroes novels about a bad priest, and I brought it into Manila Cathedral and basically told all of the bishops in the church that they were as bad as that priest in Jose Rizal's book. That one image, 90 million Filipinos knew exactly what I was talking about. You know, talking about birth control, talking about church abuse, talking about all of this stuff. That could have taken 5 paragraphs. You would have to probably write a whole manifesto in order to get that message across. This shows just the power of arts and culture in transforming society. You cannot force Filipinos to change, but you can inspire them to change, you can coerce them to change, you can trick them to change, and you can inspire them. You know, arts and culture is I think, much more of an effective catalyst then a gun. I'm a free man on bail. I paid 3,000 pesos. That's my bail. Not bad. If I went to the church in 1980 instead of 2010, you probably wouldn't even have heard of it. You know, I probably would have just been taken away, taken to jail, locked up, and nobody ever heard of me again. But now, thanks to social media, when I went to the church, it became kind of this cause célèbre, and it became like some sort of like wildfire that went through and shared on social media. Social media kept me free. If without the internet, I'd probably still be in jail. And it's bizarre because the Philippines is probably the slowest internet media in the world. So the super slow internet has actually helped me fast track my career. Do not think that the Philippines was this place where everybody was dancing on the streets and eating lechon. On September 21, 1972, Ferdinand Marcos had enough and he declared martial law. But then again, Ferdinand Marcos said that he had to declare martial law. He said, "The Filipino is losing dignity in the eyes of the world. It is because of the crimes of the landed classes and oligarchy and the sins of our colonial past. The Filipinos do not have an identity which unites them. I declare martial law to unite Philippine society." I started off the tour with that, telling that story of the rise and fall of Imelda through architecture. And I'd lead them through all the buildings. Some friends of mine from Canada, from Toronto, watched the tour and said, "This is a play." So we brought it over to Toronto, and then we sat down, we dramaturged it, wrote everything down, created an arc, created 7 acts, created the metaphors, put in all of the visuals, and now that walking tour became a performance. We had to sort of scale everything down. And so it just became a one-man show with a PowerPoint projection, pretty much, and made it into 1 act. And from being 2.5 hours long, it's now 1 hour and a half long, only 1 performer. And I kind of think that this is really where I'm most comfortable with it. I mean, doing the performance this way, with just me on stage, I'm comfortable. I don't have to worry about feeding the cast. I don't have to worry about, worrying about costumes, worrying about props, worrying about... All I have to worry about is all the stuff that I use as compared to what it was before. So now it's at its most convenient, it's at its tightest, and I hope that this is the version that I'll be able to take around the world. It's evolved pretty much what I do today. I'm still using performance, I'm still using myth, I'm still using the city as a space, I'm still using visual arts as my very basis. So a lot of people don't realize it, but I'm having a really hard time convincing people that I'm an artist. I mean, people are like, "Oh, you're an artist, since when?" I'm like, "Aren't you a tour guide?" No offense to tour guides, but it's the farthest thing that I am. So I guess now my challenge today in my midlife crisis, since I turned 40, is trying to make the world understand that what I'm doing today in my activism, in my performances, and in my tours, that everything is really based upon my visual language of collage. I guess the history of Manila is my script and the city of Manila is my stage.